Are you by any chance suffering from maybe sore scalp, maybe inflammation of the scalp, excessive dandruff or dry scalp, itchy scalp, um, slow growing hair, very dry hair? Um, if you are, stay tuned in so we can talk about it. This segment is especially for you. Hi, my name is Jim. I am the proud owner of City Chick Woman's Holistic Lifestyle Empowerment brand, and Natural Hair it is. And what I do is teach and empower Black women how to fall in love with their natural hair by equipping them with the product knowledge, the hair care regimen, and the skills they need to maintain and grow healthy natural hair. So if you've been with me for some time, you know that I always speak about health and nutrition as being the first pillar of our health, of our hair health, okay? And this week, animal products. And why am I speaking about animal products and what does this have to relate to hair? It has a lot to relate with hair. It has a lot to relate with hair because our bodies is very much so alkaline, and it is hard for our body to over time digest a lot of meat and a lot of dairy products, cheese, milk, things of this sort. And over time, what happens is that these foods are very acidic and turns our bodies very acidic. And our bodies then tend to get backed up with a lot of acid. And this stunts our hair growth. It start to have problems with autoimmune problems, and a lot of times we don't realize the small autoimmune problems, such as digestion, such as eczema. It's a list of them. But they start out very small and then they turn out to be very big. And then for women over time and men, we wind up having issues with our hair, whereas though we wind up getting very weak hair, very slow growing hair. Some of us will suffer from alopecia or inflammation of the scalp. And it will be very painful later on as time goes along. And if you go to the doctors, they will sugarcoat these things with giving you steroids, telling you to stop using relaxers, and maybe even tell you to stop using heat or give you medication. Now, these things are good for temporary results, but you will continue to have the problem and you will never get to the root of the situation. And majority of the time, the root of the situation is our diet, the American diet that we were all raised on, steak and potatoes, spaghetti and meatballs, peanut butter and jelly. These type of foods are our traditional things, hamburger and french fries. These are the things that we usually eat or may have been grown up on. But when you're younger, your body can break these down and your body has a more defense towards it. But as we continue to grow and we age and we continue to put these type of foods in our diet and in our body, what happens is it starts to break down our system and we start to have a reaction from it. And that's the reason why we have the problems that we have. So today I would just want to give you a little education on animal products. So the deal is that when we eat and consume a lot of animal products, like I said, we get acidosis. And what happens is this acid starts to burn our hair follicle. It starts to thicken our blood. It starts to make our organs very thick and hard. So we would come up with these type of issues. So I know that everybody is on different levels when it comes to their health journey. And some people are just not disciplined enough or maybe don't know where to start, or just haven't really challenged themselves. They want to, but they just haven't challenged themselves to move forward, to start to make little steps. So I do encourage you to start to make little steps. In the beginning of my health journey, I started out with just taking, stop eating hamburgers. Okay. Then I switched from hamburgers to turkey burgers. That went on for some time, and then I decided that I was going to stop eating out, having hamburgers like at Wendy's or McDonald's or anything like that. And the only time I would have a hamburger would be very rare, and if I did, I would get it from like Five Guys or a restaurant, something like that, instead of just like at a fast food joint. Then I went from there to actually trying to go vegan. I did the vegan thing for a little bit, but I didn't notice a difference in my body. I'm going to say this. I did notice a difference in my body. The difference that I noticed is that I noticed that I had more energy and different things like that. I felt a little better. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. But the deal is that I was still very, I still had digestive issues, to put it in a nice way. My stomach was still very gassy and still very bloated, and I still was having problems with going to the bathroom. And so to me, just going vegan was not enough for me. So I know that, like, with understanding vegan, some people do vegan and they eat a lot of sugar, they eat a lot of starch, they're eating still a lot of cooked foods, and they're just taking out the meat, but they're still eating a lot of junk. And that's the kind of vegan that I was. As time went along and I did that, and I remember having a situation where I fell out, and I decided that I was going to go to the doctors. The doctor said the doctors actually told me that nothing was wrong with me. I knew something was wrong with me because I fell out numerous times, and it was very embarrassing and I was very vulnerable to people that I did not know, laying out, falling out in the gym, and just not being able to catch my breath. Sometimes I almost felt like I would forget how to breathe. How do you forget how to breathe? That's just something that you just normally just do because that's what you do. You just breathe. So I went to a holistic doctor, and they told me that my blood was thick, and that basically the foods that I was eating was not giving me the oxygen that my muscles and that my cells and that my brain needed, and I actually was a candidate to have a heart attack. Yes. So that was one of the first reasons why I started my journey. And when I did that, not only did I feel better, but at that time I was suffering from alopecia. I had all of this beautiful natural hair, and in the back of my head I had like a big size, like more than a quarter size of two bald spots in the back of my head that I can actually touch, that was bald to the actual scalp. I didn't go to the doctors for it. I had been to the dermatologist before, and I just was over it as far as the dermatologist. But I did notice when I had changed my diet, and I had found out, because I am blood type A positive, that I am very sensitive, and it just goes with who I am as God made me, because I am very sensitive inside and out. And I decided that I was going to eat more raw salads, and I was going to be doing like bone broth soup and things of that nature. So I switched it up a lot and did a lot of kombuchas and fermented foods. And that helped for a while, and I lost a lot of weight from it. I looked good, I felt good, but I still was not going to the bathroom the way I know I should have. The deal is that when every time you eat, half hour to 45 minutes later, you should be moving your stool. So if you eat 3 times a day, you should be going to the bathroom 3 times a day. And if you're not, there's a blockage somewhere. And your girl was going to the bathroom maybe once or twice a month. It was just that bad. So I knew that I needed to do more. And when I was on that journey, I was going to the bathroom more, and I realized that my bald spots grew in rapidly, like really, really quickly. My hair was growing at a very fast rate. And I noticed that my hair texture had changed. It was very brittle before, and it was just very hard to manage because it was so dry. And I had an idea that maybe I was dry from the inside because my hair care regimen was on point. I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing, and yet and still I just still had these bald spots and these damaged hair. But when I started eating different, I noticed a difference not only in my weight, in my skin, in my energy level, and how I felt, but I noticed a difference in my hair. So I know for a fact that what we eat and what we put in our body is the first pillar of our hair health. So because everybody is on different levels of our health journey and we're eating, if you have problems with inflammation or slow growing hair, inflammation is pain, basically, okay? So if you have pains in your joints, or if you have tenderness of your scalp, or if your hair tends to thin or fall out sometimes in certain areas of your head, and then all of a sudden it goes away and it stops and it grows a little bit, and then months later down the line it comes back and your hair is falling out again. That means that inflammation or that fungus that is in your system is laying dormant, and it is coming back, and it's going to keep coming back until you get to the root of the problem, and that is your diet. Okay, so really in all, we really need to be flushing out these years of eating the steaks and the potatoes and the genetically modified foods and the smoking of the cigarettes, smoking of weed, liquor, drinking, hookah, partying, all of that. It all plays a part in your overall health, which will have a play out in your hair. Okay? So really what we should be doing is detoxing. Detoxing to the cellular level. And you detox with foods and herbs. And really we need to be going on a long detox of really eating fruits, raw fruits, not vegetables, just fruits, and taking herbs and really cleaning out your lymphatic system, your adrenals, your liver, and your kidneys. But everybody's not there yet, and I understand that. So I want to meet people where they are. So let's just say if you are still the person that is eating the steak and the potatoes and the eggs and the bacon and different things like that. Let's talk on that level, okay? So if you are that person that still is eating the eggs and the bacon and different things like that, I suggest that when you go to places to go and eat, make sure that they are, and you're going to have to be picky, because if you're still going out to eat, you don't know what quality of food that they are giving you, right? So you are just eating what they have. So you're going to have to be picky, okay? If you're going to go out, what you need to do is ask, are they using shell eggs or are they using powdered eggs, okay? We need shell eggs, okay? So the deal is that shell eggs are more natural than powdered eggs, and we always want to keep to the more natural forms, okay? Deal. All right, good. So then with bacon is, I don't care if it's scrapple, I don't care if it's turkey bacon, pork bacon, all of it. Switch from pork bacon to turkey bacon, right? But bacon itself is very bad for you because it causes cancer in our body. It has carcinogens in it, and it has a lot of chemicals in it. It is really, really bad for us. So I suggest, if you're a bacon lover who loves pork bacon, which is absolutely fantastic. When I used to eat bacon, that was my favorite bacon. Slowly take yourself off of pork bacon, pork everything, and go to beef. If you want to take another step, go to turkey. Then go from turkey to none. Slowly take yourself off. You don't got to jump from 0 to 100 because it won't be realistic for you, okay? It won't be realistic for you. Then you have to understand that your meats, your different cuts of meats. So when you're out, you really want to try to stay away from meats that has a lot of fat in it. The fat of meat is where I know the flavor is, and it's so freaking yummy, right? But that's where all the disease is held in at. So you got to get away from the meats that have a lot of fat, okay? You just want a nice piece of lean meat. That will be better than actually having a meat, like I said before, with a whole bunch of fat. So let's say that you're in a grocery store and you're saying, okay, well, I don't even go to restaurants no more to try to eat out like that. You know, I may eat a salad or something, and you done stepped it up a notch. And now, you know, you're eating at home and you're going to the grocery store and you're buying your food. Jim, which should I get? Okay, so let me educate you a little bit. So like, understand with your dairy, like there's cage, you'll see like cage free, you'll see, what is it? Free range and grass fed, right? All right. So the deal is that you want to stick to eggs or any type of dairy that is more considered to be pasteurized. Okay. So I'm going to start from caged. Anything that is caged, that is from our cows, which we get our milk and our meat from, to our chickens, where we get our meat and our eggs from, right? The deal is that when they're caged, they are confined to a very small space and they cannot move. They are being shot up with a lot of hormones and they're being fed corn and soy. So you may say, well, what's the big deal? The big deal is that just imagine you being caged. Could you imagine that? All day, every day, just being caged in one small space. You can't move. You're not moving. So these animals are being aged. They're being confined. Their muscles are tense. They're not able to live. They are actually like being depressed. Wouldn't you be depressed if you were caged in? That's how they are. They don't get a chance to see sunlight. Could you imagine you not getting sunlight? We thrive from the sun. So if we don't get sun, we have certain vitamins and nutrients that we get from the sun. These animals don't get that. So stay away from caged stuff. So if it says cage free, you know that that is better than being caged, okay? So none of them is going to say that they're caged, right? Right. So they'll say cage free. So you'll know that the ones that doesn't say anything, they are the bad eggs, okay? And you'll notice also that their yolk is a lot yellower, like lighter in color. Excuse me. It's lighter than color. When you see it says cage free, understand that it's a marketing tool. Okay. So the deal is that cage free is, they have more room, okay, than the caged ones. I think it's like 67 square feet. Okay, 67 square feet. And they're in barns. They're in barns. I apologize. Caged, they are 67 square feet. Cage free, they are in barns, okay? And they are confined just to the barn. And they don't get no sunlight, and they're eating corn and soy. All right, corn, understand, do your research. Don't believe me, do your research. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, okay? Anything that has to do with corn is genetically modified, okay? And anything that's genetically modified is toxic to our system. It's hard for your body to digest. It is acidic, and it is not necessarily good for your body, okay? And then soy, okay? It's this big debate on soy, right? Soy has been known, there's some soys that are better than others, right? So it's not all soy, but they're not giving them the top of the line soy. Let's get that understood. they're giving them the very low grade soy, and this soy is cancerous. Okay, so that's the reason why, like, if you ever looked at Wood to Health, these are the animals that I'm speaking of. Okay, and these are the animals that they put on the market for us to eat. So if you don't know these things when you're picking up these foods, you're ingesting this and you're putting this in your body, and this is the reason why you're having joint pain, slow growing hair, thinning hair, different things like this. We don't have to age as bad as we think. If we take care of ourselves and be very precautious about the things that we put in our body, we won't age as fast and look as bad. Okay. Let's talk about cage-free eggs. Cage-free eggs. These ones here, they still don't get outdoors. Okay. They have more space and they still don't see daylight, guys. The best eggs to get is pasteurized eggs. The reason why is because they're able to roam free, right? They roam free. They go out and they get their own food, from the dirt, like the way chickens are supposed to. They're eating worms, they're eating bugs, they're eating grass. These are the type of eggs and milk, if you're still drinking milk, that you want to gear to, that you want to pick up. Yes, they are going to be higher in price, but do understand that it's either you're going to pay right now in getting food that is going to benefit your health, or you want to pay for it later in medication and prescription medication when you're older and you're on a fixed income. So you have to pick your poison. Which one are you going to do? Okay. Let's talk about fish. Okay. I love me some fish. I don't eat fish no more. I'm not big on protein like that, like the way I used to. I get my protein from my fruits, from my vegetables when I eat my vegetables. I don't believe that protein is really necessary for our bodies. I believe that was a gimmick, and that's what a lot of the Food and National People Health Organization like to tell you. And I believe that that's a part of the reason why we have a lot of disease in our body, because the protein that is from animals are acidic. Okay. All right. So let's talk about fish for those who eat fish. The deal is that with our fish, you will see that it'll have, if it doesn't say wild caught, me personally, ladies, I wouldn't eat it. Okay. We want our fish wild, in the ocean, getting their food, swimming free. All right. You may say, well, girl, there's pollutions in the water. Yes, it is pollutions in the water. But the deal is that they are able still to move free and to roam free in the water. The water is not that polluted to the point where as though these fish are that bad off. I'm gonna tell you what is bad off. When you get your fish farm raised, please, 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 please don't believe me. Look it up. Farm raised fish are grown together and cropped together, either in like tanks. Like if you go to restaurants and you see like lobster or something like that in tanks, a lot of times they are farm raised, because wild caught is going to come to them frozen, and they're not going to be alive to put back in the tanks. They have been farm raised. Their claws and stuff are, confined and taped. And you'll see that they look very, very big, right? Because they have been fed genetically modified feed. Okay, this is what they're being fed, and they are going to the bathroom in these confined spaces, and the fish are eating each other's feces. Farm raised fish are 99% cancerous. Okay, so please, 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 please check your food. Ask questions when you are picking up your food. Don't pick it up when it's already prepackaged. Go to the butcher or to the section where as though the person is behind there and ask them questions. Is this farm raised or is this wild caught? I'm only interested in wild caught. So show me what you have that is wild caught. So when I did eat salmon, I used to only eat wild caught sockeye salmon. That is the best salmon that is out there, that is on the market. You will notice that it is highly orange. It's very highly. It's not light and pink. It's highly orange. And that's the same thing with your eggs. When you get your eggs and you notice they're pasteurized, they're going to be like a deep yellow. They're not light yellow because they're rich, very rich in vitamins and nutrients, rather than the ones that are being treated inhumanely, or the farm raised fish that are eating each other's feces. Okay, so that's the deal on that. So I'm going to give you a couple tips also of which fish I suggest that you don't eat. Okay, tilapia for one. Tilapia is absolutely horrible for you. It is not even bought up here in America. It is from, I think, Honduras, or it's another country, and the regulations of health is such at a lower standard than it is here in America, and they are farm raising them together. Sometimes they do it in the ocean, sometimes they don't, and that is better than actually crop them together in these made up places where they place the fish at. Tilapia is just not a good look. It's like 90 something percent cancerous as well. Okay, I know I'm gonna get dragged for this one, but I just wouldn't put it in my body for nothing in the world, and that is catfish. Catfish is in sludge. It is in the murkiest, dirtiest, muddiest water in life. It's no way that a fish that is living in that type of habitat am I going to put in my body. Okay? So both of them, between catfish and this tilapia, there are two things that I just would never put in my body. Now, I'm going to talk about seafood. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I was a little girl, I was raised as a Muslim. My father was a Muslim, and I remember we used to live in North Philly, and I used to go to my grandma Clayton's house, and me and my Aunt Jocelyn used to sit on the crates at the end of the block, and we used to go to the people, and we used to crack open these crabs and just eat them. Like, if you ever see me eat a crab, I'm a pro at that thing. I can eat a crab. I don't need nothing. Like, I just got my hands and my teeth. I'm a pro at it because I've been doing it as a kid, but I was very disobedient. Muslims do not believe in eating scavengers, okay? And my dad used to always say that they were bottom feeders, and they were like roaches when it came to the sea. You know, they just eat anything. And when I did my research as I grew up and as I went on my health journey, because I love crabs, I love lobster, I love shrimp, I do. But come find out that even though they are not, like, doctors will tell you to go ahead and eat seafood because it doesn't have like the fat in it the way that meats do, red meats do, in poultry. But the deal is that they are scavengers, and they are very high in toxins, and they have a lot of iodine in them as well, which can give you gout, and it will lay dormant in your body, and it is just high toxicity, guys, and it's just not good for you. So what I am saying is, take this with a grain of salt and do your own research about what I'm saying, and then you will know what I'm saying is correct. But then also take your time. Don't go from 0 to 100, because you want to do things that you can be consistent in. If you was eating a lot of meat before, change your meat to chicken, and have burgers only maybe twice out of the month or once a month instead of eating it all the time. Just start to set things backwards a little bit and start adding things in. So when I say backwards, just start taking out some things and adding some good things in to replace it. And what's going to happen is over time, you're going to notice that your taste buds are going to change. Now in your mind is going to be like, I got a taste for a burger. I got a taste for a hot dog. I mean, when I tell you I used to love me some bologna and some hot dogs and stuff, but over time, my taste buds changed because I just stopped eating these things and I took them out of my diet. Especially when I talked to people who had cancer and their doctors was telling them like, don't be eating hot dogs or, bologna and all this different kind of stuff. And they actually wind up reversing their cancer. And then me doing my own research over top of that and seeing what that was true, it was no way that I was going to continue putting these things in my body, especially after I watched the love of my life, my grandmother, die from cancer, and I was absolutely helpless in helping her. But her life is her life, and she chose to eat the foods that she ate. My grandmother grew up on chitlins and, collard greens and all that different kind of stuff. But, we have a choice today. We don't have to eat those type of things. They ate those type of things because they had to, and they came off the backs of slavery, and they ate what my master would give them, and then they kept those same habits as they continue on, and they was, free. But we don't have to do that. And we can change our genetics by eating more healthy and turn off the bad genes and turn on the good genes. So I'm pressing upon you that if you're having hair issues, you have to start from the inside out. You got to start with your diet. Your diet is going to be essential to everything. Then what you put on your hair and your regimen is going to be the icing on the cake, okay? So again, wild caught for as far as your fish, no tilapia, no catfish, lower your seafood, okay? And when it comes to dairy, if you're still eating eggs and milk, everything should be pasteurized, okay? Grass-fed, pasteurized, okay? And that is going to be your first pillar of starting to change your eating habits. And you'll notice over time when you go back, because your mind is going to fool you, and it's going to be like, oh, I want that. I want to eat that so bad. And you'll taste it. It's not going to be as good as it was before when you give yourself a nice amount of time off of it. It's just not going to taste the same, and you'll start to taste the default in it, okay? And your body will not allow you to enjoy it because your body's going to reject it because it's never was good for your body in the first place. And when you give your body that time off, it's just going to be like, no, boo, we're not doing it. So this concludes my segment, my last segment, which is segment 6 of environmental toxins. And don't take this, what I'm saying, with a grain of salt. Go ahead and do your own research on what I'm saying. And I suggest that you incorporate these things into your lifestyle and slowly but surely start to make adjustments, because a better health of you is going to give you a better head of hair, okay? So I thank you for listening to me. This is Jem signing off with Natural Hair It Is, your natural hair care coach, baby. Yes. And you have yourself a good one. Enjoy. Bye-bye.